Hey guys! Welcome to my channel. Before I start my video, I invite you to please subscribe. So my purpose really is to teach students out there who want to learn English, and to those parents who want to teach their children, and of course to those people who really want to improve their English skills. Okay, so you might be wondering why I'm offering this. Just a little bit of background. I graduated BSc English, okay, and I've been teaching English for almost 6 years now. Currently, I'm teaching writing and grammar. Okay, so before I started this channel, I actually asked for suggestions. What kind of English topics or grammar topics should I be teaching online? And one of the most common answers that came out was how to use verbs correctly. I agree that verbs are really complicated to use, especially when we write an essay, when we write a letter. But then writing essays, and especially writing a letter, is a life skill, right? It really is. We really need to learn how to write letters properly, and one way to do that is, of course, to use verbs. Okay, so my first topic will be subject-verb agreement. Okay, so are you ready? Can you give me a thumbs up if you are ready? Great. Okay, switching to screencast. Now let's discuss the first subject-verb agreement rule, or the first SVA rule. If you have a singular subject or a singular noun, definitely you should use a singular verb. Okay, so let's see the first example. She plays online games every night. So we have here the subject she. And of course, when we use she, how many are we talking about? Definitely, we're only talking about one girl or one woman, right? Therefore, if you already used a singular subject, you have to use a singular verb. And again, the verb here is the one in green, therefore it's place. We add S. Again, it's the opposite way of how we do it with noun. Therefore, again, if we use a singular subject, we also use a singular verb. And again, a singular verb, we add S. So it's she plays online games every night. That's the right way to write it. Okay? Now let's go to the second example. Vigil does his homework every day. Again, the one in orange is the subject. And how many names do you see? Yeah, we only see one name, and the name the name of that subject or noun is Vigil. So we have a singular subject or a singular noun. Definitely, we have to use a singular verb. We're going to look at this. Do is the base form, right? Do is also the plural form. But we can't use two since we're only talking about Vigil. Only one. So we have to use does. We add ES. Okay? Alright, I hope you got that. Okay. If I'm going too fast, you can pause and replay that part over and over again so that you would really understand, and that's okay, right? So let's go to the second SVA rule. And the second SVA rule is the opposite of the first rule. When you use a plural noun, you should also use a plural verb. Or the subject and the verb should agree to make sure that we're using the right grammar in writing or in conversations. Okay? So let's have the first sentence. Again, the one in orange is the subject, and the one in green is the verb. They play online games every night. So if you're going to look at the subject, we're talking about they. And when we use they, how many are we talking about? Great. We're talking about more than one. Therefore, it's a plural noun or plural subject, right? Definitely, we have to use a plural verb. And if you are going to look at the verb, is it in plural form? Definitely it is. Again, to make a plural verb, we do not add s or es, just the base form. Remember that. Okay, let's go now to the second example. Vigil and JC do their homework every day. Okay, so what have you noticed with the subject? Okay, great. We are now talking about two people, Vigil and JC. And when we're talking about more than one, is it singular or plural? Great. Obviously, plural, right? So, our verb should also agree. Therefore, we use do, right? We do not use does, okay? Because does, again, is a singular verb. We use do now because we are talking about two subjects here, all right? I hope you got that too. Okay, let's now proceed to the last rule for today. Okay, so for the other rules, I will actually make another video for that. I have to make sure that I don't do a long video. Okay, all right. So let's have the third SVA rule. Okay, so when we use, I want to add something here. Okay, when we use singular, I want to okay. When we use singular indefinite pronouns, okay, we definitely need to use singular verb. Alright? Remember, the rule there is they should match. Alright? Okay, let's read the first example. Everybody is welcome. Okay, so when we say everybody, we're not talking about someone specific, right? And when we use everybody, the rule is we have to make sure that we use a singular verb. Okay? All right, next. Each of us is required to stay at home. Please do stay at home. Okay? So each of us is required to stay at home. Again, it is this one, each, is an indefinite pronoun because we're not pertaining to someone specific. And since we use a singular indefinite pronoun, our verb should be singular as well. Now, there are some plural indefinite pronouns such as several, few, okay? But for those are plural, definitely we have to use plural verbs. But for common indefinite pronouns, anyone, anybody, anything, we have to use singular verb. Okay? I hope you got that too. Just remember the tip. When we transform the verbs, we remember that it's the opposite way of how we do it with nouns. That's my main tip for this online session. And that's a wrap! Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope that you've learned something. If you make mistakes along the way, that's okay. And I do hope that you would still watch my future videos, and I'll be featuring other topics. And again, before I end this video, I invite you to subscribe. Again, thank you. Goodbye.